Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Laughing in Different Languages. This following episode is very special because I have one of my favorite comedians in the world. Let's welcome everybody, Juanma.
Hello everyone, how you doing?
Hi.
Oh, thank you for that. That was so lovely.
Please tell us the languages you perform in.
Sure. So I'm Guatemalan. I grew up in Sweden. I live in Germany now. Obviously, my education was in English all around the world. But yeah, I perform in Spanish mainly. That's like 85% of my shows are in Spanish. 10% are in English because there's like quite a community here in Germany. And I do the other 5% in Swedish because I want to keep that connection still with my people.
Excellent. Very good. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and your stand-up journey.
I grew up with stand-up. Like all my life, I have loved the shows. Back then, when I was a little kid, looking at the storytellers or the joke tellers, remember that from Mexico, the Polo Polo and Jorge Falcon and all those funny names?
Yes.
I always loved it. I grew up with the generation of Adal Ramones and the monologues. And I went to a show in Berlin with Paulina Franco and Liliana Velázquez. I was a little bit drunk, I must admit, in that show, and I was heckling a little bit too much. Luckily, the heckling wasn't offensive. It was just like a back and forth between me and Liliana.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, Liliana came to me and said, like, "Hey, you're funny. Don't ever do that again." In a comedy show.
Bájale a tu pedo, but you're fine.
Exactly. Turn down your fart 2 lines. And she invited me over to do an open mic. So I did the February show, I did the March show, and COVID hit. So I just dedicated myself to writing until 2022. That's where I met Chad Max in another show. I took the course with Chad Max, and then we started doing a lot of shows. It went from that to now presenting my 1-hour solo show that you will be opening in Leipzig.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
How do you write your sets?
I'm a stupid person. I am a very clumsy person, and things happen to me that shouldn't happen to people. So I carry with me always a little notebook, and I come home and I write a story, like this story around that. It is kind of dangerous sometimes because sometimes I just write down like titles of things that happened to me, but I completely forget what it was that I was supposed to write about. Or I remember things that happened to me in the past. Like in my show, I talk a lot about my mom, my dad, about my brother. My sister is a little bit jealous because I never write about her.
Is it because she's normal?
She's not normal. She's definitely the weirdest of them all. But I left my house completely when she was 14. She's now 30 years old, and there hasn't really been like that much of a close relationship with me and her. But with my brother, we were together, only the two of us, for 10 years before she was born. But I mean, I love her nonetheless. Things haven't happened to us.
Yeah. So you don't have any stories together.
Exactly. Exactly.
I see.
Yeah.
How do you know when a set is good, bulletproof?
That's actually a great question because there's some sets that work in Spanish perfectly. General is very crude and we are very, I don't want to say racist, but racial maybe. We do laugh at those things. These kind of jokes don't work in English sometimes. I have bombed with the same joke that I killed in Spanish. I bombed in English because people are more aware of, like, I guess, or they have a different, they please, or they try to be more woke. And in Swedish, the humor is very sarcastic. So you don't go for the same approach. So it takes a different approach in different languages. The first joke that I ever made was something referring to me as the world's smallest Viking. And that started evolving into a bit. And now the bit is one of the longest bits in my show. Still now, to this day, after doing the show, I don't know, 10 times already, I still realize that bit can always be improved, that you can always change a word or a pause or I don't know, there's the acting. I don't think that any of my jokes are absolutely bulletproof, but I think that it's a constant evolution of Spanish humor is laugh, 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 laugh. You want to go for that like RPM that we call it, the risas por minuto. Yeah. In English, you can go on a little bit on storytelling, on like creative tension. In Swedish, it's just like get the sarcasm on this, and then you will get maybe 2 or 3 laughs a minute, but that's considered a good joke. White people, they're weird.
All right. What's the biggest difference when you perform in Spanish, in English, and Swedish?
I think the audience, the expectations from the audience are very different. I mean, you probably have experimented this as well. In Spanish, people want to like be laughing the whole time. You have to deliver punchlines very, very constant. In English, more about, also depends. Americans are very much of an easy laugh, whilst the rest of the world is looking for a smarter kind of humor.
Yeah.
A ha 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 is just as good as a ooh.
Yes, that's true.
Right? So this is also considered comedy. In Sweden, it's just, I don't know why, but maybe because they have solved already all their social issues, they just want like some sarcasm, like double sense. It's quite interesting.
Have you ever been in trouble because of a joke?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I have one that actually I once helped a friend with an abortion. And my way of dealing with these kind of situations is just making jokes of the situation. I didn't make fun of her. I didn't make fun of her struggle of anything. I know that this is a very sensitive topic, but yeah, I made a joke about being in an abortion clinic as a man who had nothing to do with the situation. And this was not very well received. It was very dark. It led to a series of fights with my friends. And I'm very sorry if she ever sees this. I'm still very sorry. That was not my intention. It was like a little bit too personal, I guess. And even though nobody knew who I was talking about.
Yes. There were no names, but still she felt, yes, I see. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Do you think crowd work is a skill every comedian should have?
Yes. There's this guy. What's the name of this pretty guy?
I don't know. I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
Oh, the white guy.
Amazing with his crowd work. Yeah. He is horrible on his written stuff. I think you need to find the balance. There's always going to be hecklers. There's always going to be situations in which you need to interact, and you need a quick wit, and you need to come up with quick answers. People really do appreciate that in a show.
That's true. I think it shows character.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. I don't know about you, but I'm a person that if things are not going according to the plan, I start getting nervous. Yes. So developing the crowd work skills helps you like take back the program where it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Get the control back, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true.
It's always, in this line of work, you're always dealing with a lot of people who are drunk. So you will deal with like really unexpected comments, and it's it's good to know to have a way to handle that.
Yes, the weapon, right? Crowd work can be a weapon. What is your proudest moment in stand-up?
There's a couple of things actually. I am a big fan of stand-up. I grew up with it, and obviously I follow a lot of stand-up comedians. And when some Mexican stand-up comedians came to Berlin, and I had the opportunity to open the show for them, that was super cool. I opened the show for Franco Scamilla, for example, in Munich, and you're in front of like 1,000 people, and it's like, wow. And I dropped his hat. You know, he had like his signature hat. It was on the little stool, and I was doing joke, and I turned around and I dropped it from the stage all the way to the floor. I opened for Alex Fernandez, who's one of my favorite comedians in the world. It is actually really cool to be able to share moments with them. Theo Robert was recently here,
Yes,
and
yes.
we were hanging out in a strip club, like just talking about comedy in a strip club.
Yes,
And it's just like, I never imagined that this would happen. So it
exactly.
makes me very happy to meet my idols, and sharing stage with like really, really big names.
Yes.
It is definitely a moment of pride for me.
It's a blessing, exactly as you described it,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
mind-blowing that we
It,
have
it,
these
it just
opportunities.
mind
Yes.
blowing.
Gracias
We
a
were,
Dios. Y
yeah,
gracias a The Comedy Fire también.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I have to thank the Comedy Fire for the opportunities to do this, to CK as well, who has opened those doors, to Chadwick for the chance of being there. But yeah, it's surreal moments. I talk about this in my second special that I'm writing now.
Wow.
I'm talking about like that one time that we were hanging out in the hotel room with Los Cotorros, with Slobodsky and Ricardo, and my wife is smoking a joint with one of them, and I'm having whiskey with the other, and it's just like, really, is this
Am
what
I
I'm doing right now?
dreaming?
Yeah, and I don't know, it was bizarre, but amazing, an amazing
Yes.
feeling. Amazing. Yeah.
Very good. How do you recover from bombing?
I think bombing is essential. You have to go through it. I don't think that you can be a good comedian if you never bomb, because you need to learn and you need to pick yourself up. My first time hosting a show in English, I bombed so bad, so bad. Like it was just crickets everywhere. And then I learned that jokes in Spanish don't necessarily translate to English.
Exactly.
And then you start realizing that, and it was a lesson that I wasn't going to learn any other way.
Yeah.
So you start like analyzing, okay, the behavior, the public, what are they expecting? Listen to other comedians. And the last show that I did in English, actually, it was like a bigger half-hour set area. It was just like, went amazing. And I'm like, okay, but I have picked up all these lessons from all the bombing.
Yeah.
So you just have to think that it's normal.
So I'm going to do an association game. So I tell you a word related to comedy, and you tell me the first word that comes to mind. Only one word,
Oh,
not maybe a phrase if you want.
okay.
Yes? So first, colleagues.
Drama.
Next, 2 free drinks.
Too little.
Not enough. Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Next, unpaid spot.
Learnings.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Next, old jokes.
Insecurity.
Good. Good. Audience.
Best friends.
Good. And last one, edgy.
Most.
Very good.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
I really consider that the line is wherever you throw it. As long as you're more funny than you're offensive, it's fine.
Exactly.
And
I think that's a good rule.
what I learned from my situation, where I was more offensive than I was funny. And, yeah.
I agree completely. Yes, you can joke about everything.
Yeah.
As long as it's funny.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. So, is there anything else you would like to share with us? Maybe somewhere we can follow you, or any upcoming projects?
Yeah, please follow me here at Juanma Johansson. You should be on here. Creating some new shows as well. And then I'm going to take a little break from stand-up. I need a pause. I need to work on my mental health a little bit. But coming back with a couple of projects that are already in the pipeline. A new podcast, comedy podcast on Formula One.
Ooh.
Together with Edu, who's an amazing friend. New shows, the new hour about mental health and how to deal with it, a full show about it. Yeah, 2025 is going to be cool.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Juanma. Thank you, thank you. This was Laughing in Different Languages. Let's follow Juanma at this account, and let's stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Por Valhalla.
Listo.